Thy will, Lord, make us strong to aid the weak.
Aid the weak and right the wrong.
Right the wrong. Thank you very much. This we will go right into our session because, as you realize, we may be running a bit late. And this evening's presentation is geared towards incoming presidents and vice presidents. And the session will be facilitated by Lion Sherwin Greenwich, PMGF, from Barbados. Lion Sherwin is a strong advocate for leadership growth, and he is a Lions Leadership Institute graduate, a Faculty Development Institute graduate, and also a Lions certified instructor. So Lion Sherwin will be presenting to our incoming presidents and vice presidents this evening. So without further ado, Lion Sherwin, I would like to hand over to you.
Good afternoon, GLT Chair, Lion Louisiana. Fellow Lions, Leo Lions, Leos, if any, good afternoon. I have been asked by the GLT team to begin the series of training for incoming officers, and we are starting with the club presidents and vice presidents. As indicated earlier, my name is Sherwin Greenwich. I put my contact information there should you require any additional information. That's my mobile number, my email address, just in case at any time you would want to reach out to me. This evening we are going to look at identifying the requirements for your journey as president and vice president. We're going to describe the roles of the president and the vice presidents, and we're going to review the responsibilities of the presidents and the vice presidents. And then after that, we're going to look at skills required for your success in the role. So, as we prepare for the next Lionistic year, we know that as we go into we are finishing, well, basically June starts on Monday. So we are now beginning into that month where we should be preparing as president and vice presidents elect for your positions in the next term. This calls for some preparation because, especially for the presidents, you'll be taking on a leadership role, the major leadership role in your club. And to ensure that you have success, you require preparation. So how do you prepare for the role? So you're going to start with the journey. And before we start the journey, I had prepared I was going to do an icebreaker. And I think we have a few persons here, so I'm going to ask persons to just open their mic and indicate their name, the name of their club, the length of time that they have been Lion or Leo, and to share the most memorable Lion or Leo experience and explain why it was memorable. So I'm going to ask the volunteers. If you don't volunteer, you'll be voluntold. So who will be the first persons to share their name, their club, the length of time they've been a Lion or Leo, and to share their memorable experience with us? Who's going to be first?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lion Rohan de Freitas from the Lions Club of Kingston, SPG. I am a former Leo from the Leo Club of St. Vincent West, which it no longer exists at this time. I have been in Lionism since 2018 as a Lion, but I would have spent 4 years as a Leo prior to me leaving to go abroad to study. I enjoy serving, enjoy getting the positive feedback from persons who would have helped. And I must say one of the most memorable experiences I have is our I Care For You program, which we do annually. which we have collaborated with the Sight for Life team out of the USA. It's a nonprofit organization, and we have had this project going on for 52 years now.
Thank you, Lane Rohan, for sharing. What position are you coming into this in the coming year?
I am the current president
Or you
of
current
the
president?
club, and I am returning as president of the club next year.
Okay, wonderful. I was saying that this name is not familiar to me, but then you explained that you would have left as a Leo and studied overseas and returned in 2018. So, welcome to the training and thank you for being the first out of the bat. Can I have another volunteer?
Yes, hello there. My name is Ansel Innis, and the name of my club is Lions Club Barbados East. I'm a charter member for 38 years with the club, and my most memorable time in the Lions is when I was promoted as president back-to-back in the COVID years, which was a very difficult time for our members and a difficult time overall. And I really had to bring those members together. I also enjoy some past projects that we've done, and we are looking for future projects for the coming year.
Thank you, Elaine Ansel. Thank you for sharing. And I'm happy that you introduce yourself because, especially for persons who may be timid of being a president, Elaine Ansel was asked to be a president as he indicated. He is from a home club, so let me just say I'm familiar with the situation.
No, I didn't ask to be president. At that time, I was on the nomination committee, and we couldn't find anyone. We couldn't find anyone to take up. I said, no, this is my club. I will be president.
Thank you for the explanation. Elaine Ansel wouldn't allow me to finish, but that's exactly what happened. He indicated that he would take on the responsibility, and the club agreed, and he did it for 2 years back to back. So it shows that when the time comes, you can step up as a leader. You don't always have to be the first, second, or third vice president. You can always indicate, well, when there's a need, there's a lane. And when there was a need for leadership in our club at that time, Elaine Ansel stepped up.
Well, I was always a leader. Being a teacher and a swim coach, I always lead a lot of children.
Right.
So, parents.
Very good. Do we have any more volunteers?
Good evening, Lions. Good evening, Lions. My name is Gail Henry Lewis. I'm from the Lions Club of Antigua. I am the incoming president. I've been a Lion since 2016, but I'm also a former Leo, so I've been in this organization for a very long time. One of the most memorable times or experiences I've had would have been prostate screening, which is a project that we do annually. We're coming up to almost 20 years now. That's a project where we screen men for prostate cancer. And, it's one of those projects that really warms your heart because, when it comes to men's health, it's a challenge. And we have been seeing numbers close to 1,000 every year, so it's really one of those projects that's dear to my heart. And it's a good experience when you actually see all those men come out to get their checks annually.
Thank you, Elaine Gail, who would have prepared herself for this role. She didn't indicate, but Elaine Gail is one of my graduates, 2024. Yes, 2024, right, Elaine Gail?
Yes.
An RLA graduate. So you should be well prepared for this position.
I think I am. But what did I miss? I'm sorry.
No, I said that you were well prepared for this position. You didn't indicate that you were RLA graduate, but you were RLA graduate 2024, which would have prepared you for this position. So welcome to the training. Yes.
For sure, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine Gail. 2 hours.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rhonda Ware Thomas. I am from the Kingston, New Kingston Lions Club. I spent about 3.5 to 4 years as a Leo and then took a break from Lionism and then joined back as a Lion back in 2014. So I've been a Lion for 12 years. Um, One of my most memorable Lions experience is there's a project that the Lions Club of New Kingston does in September. That's our Senior Citizens Month, where we used to take seniors down to Rockfort Mineral Bath and have just a great day of fun with them in the water. And of course, we would feed them breakfast and we'd also give them lunch. And what I loved about this project was that it was different from just feeding them because then you actually interact with them there in the water. We do exercises with them. And because it used to be an annual project, it was something that they looked forward to. We paused it during COVID because, of course, everything shut down, and then Rockfort Mineral also shut down, but they have reopened, so we're hoping to start back up this project. Hello
Thank
again,
you,
Lion
Aaron. I'm
Sherwin.
so happy to see that you are with us again. And your position in the coming year is?
I will be
Thank you.
second.
Good. Very welcome. Welcome. You'll recognize that your tag team partner is now the region chair. So, I have greater expectations of you. So, nice,
I
nice
have
hearing that you're
I have
there.
big shoes to fill, but
Yes.
I have great mentors in my club. All of my club, majority of my club have been presidents before, so I know I'll be
Yes.
guided well. And when it comes my time to become president, I look forward to
And
it.
you know that I know you have the capability. Yes. All
Thank you.
right. Thank you. And one more. We were doing well so far. I didn't have to volunteer any person.
Hi everyone. My name is Robert Wilkinson. I, along with Lion Sherwin and Lion Ansel, I'm part of Barbados Lions Club East. I've only been with the club for 2 years, and I've been nominated to be second vice president for the upcoming year. So I've accepted. I've accepted it as a challenge, just to see what it's all about, and for some personal growth, I guess. Um, Memorable experiences. I guess when I first came, one of the first things, when I first joined, one of the first things that we did was a beach cleanup. And then sometime after that, we went into a school and we painted some chairs and tables and whatnot. Those are the kind of things that I enjoy. That's why I joined the Lions Club. So I'm looking forward to having a lot more of those kind of activities in the upcoming
Thank
year.
you. Thank you so much, Len Robert. And I look forward to your years as you rise through to become president in the next couple of years. And I'm going to volunteer this person, Len Pauline Thomas. Can you share with me? Len Pauline, are you with us?
Yes, I'm just trying to get my screen up.
That's okay.
Okay, yes, I'm Lan Pauline Thomas. I'm from Kingston, New Kingston Club. I have been a member of the New Kingston Club for 40 years. So I have been around for a very long time. I went for the affiliate member for 17 years because I migrated. And I've served in all the capacities of the club up to first vice president, and then I decided that I wanted to take a break. So I'm coming in now as third VP. So I have been there.
Okay, well, I expect that you won't take a break at first VP again, that you will go all the way through to become president.
I think I have decided to do that since I've decided I'm coming in back as third vice president.
Yes. So again, welcome. So thank you for sharing for those experiences. So as I said earlier, you're preparing for a journey. And there's two Chinese philosophers said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I believe this training this evening can be thought of as that first step towards in your journey towards leadership. So, how do we prepare for the position as president or first vice president? And I'm proposing that part of that preparation will be that you will want to meet with your predecessor. You'll want to set goals, your goals. You'll want to familiarize yourself with the district organization and as well with the administration requirements of LCI and the district. And then, as I consider very important, to be able to identify and meet with your committee chairpersons. These are the particular aspects of your preparation that I believe that you should begin, if you haven't started already, at least from Monday until the 1st of July, to ensure that you have covered all of these areas. So you should have a conversation with your sitting president. If you're not the sitting president, I'm repeating, you should have that conversation to see, so that they could identify any challenges that would have occurred during the year, or if there are any unfinished projects or plans that they would want to be continued. You will also want to ensure that you understand the district organization, and especially for the young person, understand how the gap works within the district and the club organization. And you, of course, you will want to familiarize yourself with the requirements for LCI and the district. And then, as I said, to identify especially your committee chairs and have a meeting with them before the commencement of the year. Have any of you who are becoming presidents done any of this so far? Are we all waiting until June? Okay, no answers. So, as I indicated, as a president, what you would want to do is to ensure that you set your goals for the club and yourself for the coming year. It's important that you set goals, because without having goals to propel you forward, then you will be like a ship without a rudder in the water. You'll be going all over the place with no particular purpose. So you should set goals for the coming year. And those goals should be SMART goals. I'm sure by now all of us, or most of us, would have heard about SMART goals. So those goals should be SMART goals to ensure that they can be achieved. So SMART goals should be specific, which means the goals should be as specific as possible to ensure that the objective is clear, remove any ambiguity. They should be measurable, which means they should have some benchmark that you can determine whether or not you are making progress. Of course, they should be actionable. They should be achievable. It's no use having a goal that you believe in your mind, yes, I'm going to say we're going to do this, but in my mind, I believe we are not going to. So the goals should be achievable. And for them to be achievable, they will need to be realistic, which means that even though they may be challenging, they still can be achieved. And in order to be able to measure whether or not you've achieved your objectives, they should be time bound. So your goals should have a particular time. I would like, for an example would be, I would like to increase the membership of the Lions Club of Kingston, SVG, by 3 members by the end of March 30th. It is time bound, yes. We've set a date. Is it realistic? I believe, yes, 3 members should be realistic. Is it achievable? I believe so. Is it measurable? Yes, you will know whether or not you have 3 members, 2 or 1 or 0 or 4. And is it specific? yes, is indicating directly what you want to achieve by the 30th of March. So that would be the example of a SMART goal. And I've chosen this example because as you all are aware of the Mission 1.5, so I believe in each club there should be a target for increasing your membership. And 3 members per club might be a realistic target that you might want to look at. But we'll hear more about that later. So, Dennis Waitley said, the reason most persons never reach their goal is that they don't define them or even seriously consider them as believable or achievable. Winners can tell you where they are going, what they plan to do along the way, and who will be sharing the adventure with them. So for you to be able to share and get your members to be full of enthusiasm towards achieving your goals, you got to make sure that the goals are SMART and that you believe in those goals. Your members will know whether or not you believe in those goals or not by the way that you have placed them over to them. So, ensure that you have SMART goals that you believe in so that your members can join you towards the achievement of those goals. Remember that you can stop me anytime and ask me any questions. So as I shared earlier, you would also want to have an understanding of the district cabinet structure. I believe most of you should by now know the structure of the district. You have a district governor who is the Global Action Team chairperson for the district. Yes. And part of the district, you will have the Global Action Team, which would comprise of the Global Leadership Team Coordinator, which Lion Louisiana is at the moment. And you also have a Global Service Team Coordinator and a Global Membership Team Coordinator. Those are the GAT members of the district. Those particular coordinators will coordinate with the zone chairs and the GAT persons in the clubs to ensure that the leadership, service, and membership goals are realized. You also in the district would have your region chairperson, which is an optional position. A lot of persons are not aware that the region chairperson is an optional position. You don't necessarily have to have a region chairperson, but you must have a zone chairperson. So the zone chairperson normally reports to the region chairperson. You would also have, as has been the situation in this year, a cabinet secretary and a cabinet secretary treasurer as 2 distinct positions. Previously, we would have had the cabinet secretary treasurer position as one. This year, for the first time, we have had the positions as distinct roles, which are provisioned for under the Lions Club International cabinet structure. Of course, you would have your immediate past district governor and your first vice district governor, your second vice district governor. Under the zone chair, you would have your district advisory committee, which would consist of the president, secretaries, and treasurers, and service chairs if required by the zone as the district advisory committee for the zone. You also have the LCIF coordinator, who has been included now into the GAT team. So the LCIF coordinator for the district will sit along with the district leadership team, the district membership team, and the district service team. Under the district service team, it is encouraged. I know a lot of persons have not utilized this as often as possible in the clubs, but the service committees, especially for our core areas, diabetes, environment, hunger, childhood cancer, vision, those areas, those committees will fall under the global service team. And then you have the district operation committees. You would have your Information Technology Committee, your District Governor Honorary Committee, which provides advisors to the District Governor. You would have your Marketing Communication Committee, and other committees as the District Governor may decide. And then you'll also have a Convention Committee. If the convention during the year is under the particular district, you would have a convention committee. And then, as traditional, you will have your nominations committee, your credentials committee, your resolutions committee, your elections committee, constitution and bylaws, rules of procedure, and an international convention committee, who will then work with the multiple district. So those committees, the nominating, credentials, resolutions, elections, constitutional bylaws, and rules of procedure, though the majority of the work of those committees are done during the district conventions or conferences. Any questions?
Lance Sherwin,
Yes, please.
American flight
just a quick one.
66
Where does
to
the
Rock
activities
Insurance
committee fall?
customers are welcome to board.
All right, some person is that who's speaking? That's
Lance
George?
George.
Yes.
Yes.
The activities would become one of those other committees. You see at the bottom of the operations committee, where you have other committees, activities committees fall under that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
So any other committee that the district government decides outside of these customary committees to fall under other committees. And activities committees, that is one as well. Yes, please.
This session, is it going to be shared? My vice presidents are not able to be in this meeting, so I would like to know if it's recorded so that it can be shared.
Yes, the GLT coordinator in Louisiana has indicated that it will be recorded and it will be shared immediately after, I believe, after the presentation.
Wonderful, thank you.
But it will be shared. Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any clarifications required? All right, we now move to the club structure, which all of us should be very, very, very much accustomed to. The older lions than myself would recognize that there are some changes to the ones that we have been accustomed to previously. Over the last, I think, 4 years or so, there have been changes. So, at the club level, you would have your president, who is your global action team chairperson within the club, and the leadership person in the club is the first vice president. So first vice presidents on this webinar, please note that your responsibility is for leadership, because we have had situations in the past where first VPs were not aware that they are responsible for leadership. So in the club, the first vice president becomes the global leadership coordinator at the club level. So you also have your membership chairperson and your service chairperson. So those three positions form your GAT team at the club level, with your president as the chair, your first VP with responsibility for leadership, your membership chairperson, and then your service chairperson. Under those positions, you would have committees. You would have, so on the first VP should have a leadership committee who should be responsible for leadership activities such as any training required in the club, identifying persons or identifying training requirements for the club. The membership chairperson will lead the membership committee, who should be responsible for bringing new members, but not only bringing new members, but retaining members as well, ensuring that members feel comfortable to retain in the club, and also to enhance the membership experience of the members. Those are the responsibilities of the membership chair, but I believe you will get some more information on that during the week. And the service chairperson would have a service committee. I personally suggest that the project committees in the club should all report to the service, should form the service committee. So all the chairpersons of the committees, let's say the chairperson of the environment committee, chairperson of the health committee, chairperson of youth empowerment committee, those chairpersons should make up the service committee, because it helps then for the service chair to be knowledgeable of what's happening in the club at the committee level, and then make it easy for reporting. That is just my suggestion, but I know other persons have other iterations as to how the service committee should be made up. And you will have your marketing and communication chairperson in the club, who should also have a marketing and chairperson committee. And the treasurer, of course, should have the finance committee to help the treasurer prepare the budget and ensure things are kept financially, or the financial obligations are met. And of course, you have your secretary, you have your second vice president, and your immediate past president serves as the CIF coordinator in the club. Excuse me, I have a little bug. Then in your club, you may want to have a constitutional bylaws committee to ensure that your club's constitutional bylaws are kept up to date. And if you're one of the clubs that has the facility for IT, you may want to have an IT technology committee to ensure that if you're having hybrid meetings, that those things are kept in place. So those are some ideas of the committees of the main executive. And of course on the board, Lions Club International has added the program coordinator, who is responsible for providing some programs within the club to create some excitement. And you have your tamer, who used to be a staple but could be optionable, but we still use our tamer. You have your tail twister. Some persons have safety, some clubs they don't have safety officers to ensure that the den is safe for the members. Excuse me. And then if you have a branch club, you might have the branch president as a member of your board of directors as well. Any questions? Good. So now we're going to get into, after you've done the preparation, the 1st of July arrives, and you're going to do your first board meeting. So I have some particular areas that you should cover at your first board meeting. You should ensure that you've prepared a budget. So during your preparatory meeting with your committee chairpersons and your elected board. So let me just say this, I encourage, as I said earlier to the incoming presidents, you should be preparing, and part of this preparation is that you should seek with the permission of your sitting president to meet with your incoming board, maybe in a retreat, a one-day retreat, so that you can adequately prepare yourself for the coming year. And part of this would be to be able to look at your budget and ensure that you have a realistic budget. At your first board meeting, you should also need to confirm your signatories for your bank accounts and arrange for the proper transfer of the club properties. Also, appoint an audit committee. It's very important that you appoint your audit committee early. Appoint your committee chairpersons, and if there are persons who have not been installed, to have that installation completed. So if you have members who for some reason may have missed the installation of officers, you would want at your first board meeting to ensure that those those persons are installed at the earliest opportunity. You also should assign responsibilities for your charter anniversary function and start to prepare your club's calendar of activities and projects for the year. This is important for clubs to ensure that there are no clashes where you have varying committees planning projects. You want to ensure that the projects do not clash with one another so that you can get maximum participation from your members. So you should prepare a calendar of activities and projects so that your fundraisers and your projects do not clash. And then, of course, at that board meeting, you should announce your goals for the year and seek ratification from the board of directors for those goals. Are there any other areas that I have missed that persons believe will be pertinent for that first board meeting? Okay, we have a silent bunch. I'm going to get you all talking a little later. All right, next we're going to look at the roles of the president and the vice president. Can any person share with me what they believe are the roles of the president and vice presidents? Lane Curlin, what do you believe is the role of the president?
Good night, Lion Sherwin. Good night, Lions.
Good night, Deborah.
To me, I believe that the role of the president is to not only be the overseer and the chief executive officer of their club, but also to ensure that everything runs smoothly throughout the year and that every committee executes their duties accordingly.
Thank you for sharing that, Deborah. So, the president is the link between the club, the zone, and the global action team. So, your club president is the liaison between the club and the zone chair, and the club and the district action team. The zone chair would communicate with the president and sometimes the secretary, and the members of the district global action team would communicate to the zone and to the president their initiatives. So the president, as I said, is the club global action team chairperson, and the first vice president is the global leadership chairperson. So I just wanted to cement that in so that you know directly, especially the presidents, you are the chair of the global action team. So if the district governor visits and asks, President, how is the global action team going? You should know that is your responsibility, and you are not the person looking around the room to find out who he or she is speaking to. You're the person will step up. Yes, the global action team is going well. My leadership, my first vice president has prepared some training for the club. The membership chairperson has organized some orientation session for some new members. And yes, the service chair has been reporting monthly on the numerous projects that we've been doing. And that would be the response of a proud president. So, I just want to share how the Global Action Team works within the district. So you have your Global Action Team. So at the multiple district level, you would have your ambassadors, because the Global Action Team not only starts at the district, it starts from international and comes and winds its way down to the clubs. So at the Lions Club International, you have ambassadors, you pass international presidents, past International Board of Directors and past district governors. Those make up the global action team at the high level. And then you would have in your constitutional area, we are in constitutional area 1. I hope we all know that we are in constitutional area 1. So they would have a gap team in constitutional area 1. And then constitutional area 1 is broken up into areas. And we are 1. I think we are 1E. We fall under 1E, which would also have a gap team. And then at the multiple district level, I just shared, you would have a gap team at the multiple district level, chaired by the council chair. And then at the district level, chaired by the district governor. And then down to the club level. So there's a hierarchy for the global action team from Lions Club International right all the way down to the club. So this should, if you're not yet aware, you would recognize that leadership, membership, and service are 3 of the core areas for Lions Club International. They want to ensure that the leaders are trained and capable of leading, not only at the club level, but at the zone, district, multiple district level, and that we increase our members, but not only increase that, we retain our members and we enhance their membership experience. And of course, that we do service. Any questions? So now we're going to look at the responsibilities of the president and vice presidents. And then Deborah would have shared some of those responsibilities in her answer earlier. So I'm going to ask some other persons if they can share with me the president's responsibilities. I tried Lane Curlin earlier. Lane Curlin, you want to help me? Alright, what I want to do for the next 3 minutes then, since nobody is willing to help me, I want you to write down the president's responsibilities that you can recall in 3 minutes. I also want, as we review this responsibility later, I would want to identify how many of these responsibilities you identify. So within the next 3 minutes, I'm going to ask you to write down the president's responsibilities that you can recall, and then I would ask some of you to share them with me. So 3 minutes. Okay? 3 minutes. I also want you to also write down what you believe are the responsibilities of the vice president. So it will be the responsibilities of the president and the vice president. Okay, believe you had enough time. So who want to share with me the responsibilities of the president?
Lion Sharon, this is Lion Jimmy Challenger. You can hear me?
Yes, Jimmy, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, one of the first responsibilities is as president of the club, the president is to put his program together in alignment with Lions International and ensure that the year plan along with his executive board is set so that you have your program, your agenda, your schedule of meetings, all of that program should be set and headed by the president, supported by the entire executive team and balance of the board and club as a result. That's one of the first things that need to be done.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to add?
Yes, maybe Lion President, past council chair, Lion Sharon, Lion Elton Richardson, St. Martin. Apologies for just joining. Had some difficulties, but also the responsibilities I should take to understand is to also, besides leading the club, but also appoint the committee chairs, etc. like that, and making sure that all the committee chairs are in place, if that's my memory serves me well.
You have all your committee chairs in place?
I have my committee chairs in place, basically, yes. Thank you very much for asking.
Thank you very much. Elton is another RLI graduate as well, the most recent one. Anyone else share?
Sorry, I don't know if Lion Ron unmuted before me. Let him go.
Go ahead.
Okay, another responsibility which most people tend to fall in is that the president is responsible for chairing most of the meetings. They are the chairman of the board, and they usually lead both the business meeting and social meetings if you have any. Good. I say most meetings because in the event that the president is not there, then either the first VP, second VP, or third VP steps up and chairs the meeting.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing. Anyone want to share the role of the vice presidents?
Well, the role of...
Yes, go ahead, Rohan.
All right. The role of the vice president is to assist the president when he is not available. In terms of chairing the meetings, he's also responsible for spearheading part of the admin committee, which will then plan activities for the club, such as church, also, and pretty much stepping to chair meetings when the president is unavailable.
Thank you for sharing. And some person has wanted to share earlier.
Yes, Lion Sherwin. Good night, Lion Ingrid here. The VPs also oversee the committees to which the president has assigned them. So the president assigns them to the various committees, and then they oversee, sort of guide the committees along, sitting on their meetings and so on, and report back to the president or the board of directors as they deem fit.
Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you for sharing. And one other?
I think one of the Pauline Thomas, Kingston, New Kingston.
Yes, Pauline.
Yes. One of the responsibilities of the president to inspire members so she can fulfill the club's community and service goal.
Good. Thank you for sharing. At least some of you did some homework.
Right.
And then
I wanted
I
to
see
add
your
as
hand
well,
raised.
right. I wanted to add as well, and showing that the zoning in specifically on the role of the first vice president. That role or that person who sits in that role is responsible for the leadership development, because that would be the leadership chair of the club. The first vice president, that's one of the first vice president roles, so overseeing leadership development of members and ensuring that members are supported as it relates to training and development, so transition into various roles.
Lovely. Thank you, Lion Addo. Yes, so...
Are you looking for another?
I will not turn down another. Yes, Lion Judith.
Okay. I realize you guys were not hearing me earlier. And so for the president, I would also add, the president also ensures that the club officers fulfill their duties and also work with the membership chair in terms of membership growth and retention, and also the one to be the official spokesperson for the club, along with ensuring that the goals and priorities are set for the club and, review the performance of the club against the goals.
Well, lovely. Thank you for sharing. So, look at the vice president. The vice president responsibility as listed in the Standard Form Constitution and Bylaws, Article 111, Duties of Officers. So if you're unsure as to the responsibilities, they are listed in the Standard Club Form Constitution and Bylaws. So the vice president perform in order of rank the duties of the president when the president is unable to perform these duties, as stated earlier. So if the president is unable to perform the duties, the vice president steps up. If the vice president is unable, the second vice president steps up. And if the second is unable, the third vice president steps up. Hopefully, by that time, some person should have stepped into the position if the president is not available. Also, the vice president, as stated earlier, I think by Lion Ingrid, oversees the function of such committees of the club as the president shall designate. So you would have a number of committees within the club. The president might indicate these two committees I would want the first VP to oversee. These other two, the second VP and the third, this is third VP. But we also remember, as stated by Lion Addo, training comes under the first VP. Yes. Also, the vice president should take the opportunity to, in preparation for their role as president, gain in-depth knowledge of the district, the multiple district initiatives that support leadership development. So, as I indicated earlier, the first VP is responsible for leadership, so they should ensure that they communicate directly with the leadership chairperson in the district to ensure that the club's goals are in line with those of the district. And I keep stating it all the time so that first VPs would be aware you serve as a key member of the Global Action Team for leadership. So do not forget that. You have a key role to ensure that training is made available by communicating with your district leadership chair to identify whatever training is required for your club members. And also, may I say, to encourage your first VPs and your second VPs to attend any training at the district level, be it the RLI or the ELLI. So the responsibilities of the president, as also shown in the standard constitutional bylaws, you are the chief executive officer of the club. So you are in charge. The buck stops at you. Anything goes wrong in the club, you have to hold the responsibility. As indicated earlier, you're the chair of the Global Action Team, and you're responsible for appointing standing and special committees and to cooperate with the chairpersons to effect regular functioning and reporting of such committees, as was stated earlier with one of the presenters. Also, as stated earlier, you are responsible for presiding at all meetings of the club unless you are not available. I know some clubs have a customary practice of allowing your first VP to chair some of the board meetings, if that is your policy, but it's expected that once a president is present, that president should, once they're able to, chair all meetings of the club. You're an active member of the District Governors Advisory Committee, as indicated earlier. You are supposed to, or required, let me say supposed, required to attend all meetings called by the zone chair, all advisory meetings. And which is very important, you serve as a mentor to the vice presidents so as to ensure continuance of effective leadership. Also, as president, you're going to ensure the proper administration of the club's operation by ensuring that all club officers and members adhere to the club's constitutional bylaws and international constitutional bylaws. I think then Judith or somebody alluded to that earlier. And this is very important, incoming presidents. Encourage diplomacy and solve disputes in a fair and transparent fashion, utilizing the dispute resolution procedure if needed. So I don't know if you are aware, but there is a dispute resolution procedure that Lions Club International has, and when disputes happen in the club, you should follow that procedure. Lions Club International do not take kindly to disputes ending in the law courts, so they have put a procedure in place where you, through your district governor, if you cannot resolve these at the club, zone, or region level, and they escalate it to the district, there's a procedure in place. But as presidents, try to keep your club as harmonious as possible to ensure that these disputes not flare. And the club president report to the zone chairperson as directed. Also, key, involve members in your planning. As you cannot achieve your objectives without having your members on board. I know there are some, as I will probably show later, there are some types of leaders that believe that this type of leadership can achieve the objective. Sometimes that is a hindrance. So if you want to achieve your objective, make sure you have your members involved in your planning. So you want to do, like Ingrid, you want to have a project where you want to plant some trees, and you want to ensure that all the members are on board, so that when you decide I'm going into Oistins to plant some trees, you have the majority of your members say yes, we are going. Not that you turn up and some of the members indicate I wasn't part of that, so I'm not coming. So ensure that all times you have your members involved in your planning. So you share your goals at your board meeting. Once approved, you share them with your club, and you get the buy-in from your club as to excuse me, what you want to achieve. Right? You also want to encourage the involvement of new members. So you have new members in the club, you want to make sure that they don't feel sidelined. For all the projects, you want to encourage them. For new, as a president, you want to also identify future leaders. Often in our clubs, during March and April, we are struggling to identify leaders. You need to, from early, as presidents, identify persons in your club who you believe are future leaders, encourage them to attend the leadership training, so that when the time comes to select your VPs, you have no problem, because you have a willing pool of persons willing to place their hand in the air and say, yes, I want to go for the role of second VP or first VP. As the president, you are also required to attend your zone, region, and district meetings, submit timely reports, pay invoices promptly, and model good leadership. So as the administrator for your club, ensure that your reports are submitted by your secretary and your service chair timely. Your treasurer pay your invoices on time. That is your responsibility. Don't leave it as a leader to say, oh, that is responsibility of the secretary, so I'm not going to check. As I mentioned earlier, the buck stops at you. So when you know the timelines are coming up for a payment, you call your secretary or your service chair, have you submitted your reports on time? You call your president, your treasurer to indicate, have you paid your district dues, international dues, to remind them. That is your responsibility as president. So, how many of these that I've just shared did you recall, were written down when I asked you to write down the 3 minutes? Did you have all of these written? Anybody want to share? But I believe from what I heard from those persons who shared earlier, I think you would have covered most of them. So just remember, these are the important responsibilities of your president and your vice president. So we're going to come now. So, what are the management imperatives? You need to be successful. The president must satisfy 3 organizational imperatives. You must achieve the purpose of the organization. You must accomplish the goals and objectives, and you must hold the club together. So, in June, when you're called to give account of your stewardship for the year, you should be able to say proudly, I have achieved the purposes of the organization, which is to do service projects. I've increased my membership. I've also accomplished the goals and objectives I've set out at the beginning of the year, and I've held the club together. And furthermore, not only have held it together, I've increased membership. So these are 3 imperatives I would like for presidents to jot down to ensure that during the year, these are the 3 areas that should guide you. Achieving the purpose of the organization, accomplishing the goals of the objective, and holding the club together. Right. Any questions? Okay. So what skills are required for success. Anyone want to share what they believe are some of the skills that will be required to be a successful president?
A good listener.
Sounds good.
Respecting the time of others. In other words, if a meeting is scheduled to start at 7 and end approximately within 2 hours, but you hold it and you keep it for 4 hours, you're not respecting the time of your members to commit. It's important to respect people's time. We are giving up. Also have to balance with our private matters, family matters outside of the club. So respecting time is very important in leadership.
Thank you for sharing that. Correct. So here are some of the skills. Nobody shared this one as yet, but communicating. Communicating is very, very important. It determines how your message is shared, how persons will respond to your message. And so I thought I would share 4 areas, 4 styles of communicating. And so that persons will be aware of it. Just give me a minute, please. Sorry. Thank you. So, the passive communicator, that communicator avoids confrontation and are compliant, often putting their needs after those of others. That is one style. I'm going to beg you for a minute. My apologies. My sinuses decide to attack me at the wrong time. So, there's the passive communicator who avoids confrontation and complain, often putting their needs after those of others. Then there's the aggressive communicator who attempts to get their own way by controlling other people's tactics. I'm sure some of us are aware of this type of communication. Then we also have the manipulative communicator who avoids direct confrontation but use devious means to get their own way. Do we have some of those in our clubs? Do we? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes,
do.
Don't be ashamed to say.
Yeah.
Don't be
in
ashamed to
every
say.
organization you have
Yes. And we
you have
also have the
various types
assertive.
of communicators,
Yes.
and it includes all of the above. Yes.
Yes. So I just want you to be aware of the variant types and make sure that you are not one of the types that could bring negativity to the club. So we have the assertive ones who clearly and respectfully communicate their own needs and strive for mutual satisfactory solutions. So I want you to think about being that assertive communicator or the passive one, but surely not the aggressive, not the manipulative one. I just thought I'd share that so you'd be aware of those communications and ensure that you move away from those styles if you are active or manipulative communicator, because you are not going to encourage harmony in your club. So you want to understand the strengths and limitations of your own communication style. So you want to know exactly coming out of those that I've shared, which one honestly you fall into. And if you need to adjust to do that, to ensure that during your year, communication is not one of the challenges that you encounter. You also want to recognize the styles of each member and adapt those styles to meet the needs of the members to more effectively communicate. So you may have committee chairs who may have some of those manipulative styles or the aggressive ones, which may be causing challenges within the committees. And by cause of the challenges in any committees, you as a president are calling to settle disputes. So you want to understand those styles of those most common post listening behaviors. So all of us, and what I said, all of us sometimes like to believe that when we start to listen, we know what the person is going to say and we don't let them finish. But as a good communicator, you need to make sure that person's finished what they're saying so that you can better understand what it is that they're sharing. So don't label persons, simply be aware of the differences and be flexible in order to improve communication. You will recognize I'm sharing a lot on communication because that is one of the weaknesses that leaders often find challenges with communicating. We get along with people who are like us. However, mixing different styles strengthens work task effectiveness, and mixing those styles may result in interpersonal conflict. So yes, persons who are like us, we get along with. But when we encounter persons who think differently, then that is where conflicts start to give in. Because you might be an aggressive, and you may encounter a manipulative person, and therefore you find some conflict starting in the club. Right? So we can get along with all styles if we have mutual respect, trust, and willingness to adapt. So don't try to fight fire with fire. I have an HR manager who tells me when two fire come together, everything goes up in flames. So fire with fire, nothing objective is formed. You only have everything going up in flames. So make sure that you don't want to have clashes, but you have mutual respect. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. I want to also look at, as your president, you're responsible for chairing a meeting, to look at effective meeting management. We know in the club, there are some persons There are some persons who are side conversationalists. When you're interacting with those persons, how do you manage them? Those are the ones you call on frequently for opinions. Those persons who disrupt your meetings. I'm sure you are aware of those persons in the club right now, Ansel, that will carry on sidebar conversations, and you have to constantly be asking them to be quiet. How do you manage those individuals? You frequently ask them for their opinions and solutions. Keep them engaged in the meetings. Those who are argumentative, you get the opinions of others and you find areas of agreement. So you have like Jimmy, who is very strong in his views and very argumentative in his points. But to counteract that, you have also as a leader to try to encourage the others to share their opinions and then see if he can find some common areas. Because if you allow like Jimmy to continue to in his aggressive manner, the other members will shut up, and then you will lose some good ideas coming from those members. So you as the president will need to ensure that you encourage persons to speak out and to share their ideas, and ask Jimmy to give the other members a chance to share their ideas as well. Then there's others that we know that come into the club and they come early, they sit quietly in a corner and don't say anything. You as the president, you have the responsibility to ask them direct questions. Ask them for their opinion. Ask them what they think about the projects. Do they have any ideas? And if they share their ideas, then compliment them for being involved. And then the ones that come into the meeting and are inattentive, they're just there. Sometimes being disruptive, but you don't want to embarrass them because then they may not come back. But you want to ask them for their opinion and ask them to share their thoughts. So these are some ways of different characteristics of your members that you may need to have them engaged so you can get maximum participation from them. And then you also have those who are what we call the dampeners. I believe you know what I mean. Those that whenever an opinion comes up or an idea comes up, they can tell you, oh, this is not going to work. Do you have some of those in the clubs? Like Elton, you have some of those in your clubs who, whenever an idea comes up, they can tell you how it cannot work?
Yes.
So those are the ones you ask for solutions. Yes. Well, if this cannot work, do you have a solution then for me as to how we can get something done? So you ask them for their solutions. Those ones that tell you wait, it can't happen, then you encourage them to share how it can happen. Okay. Then there are the ones who are ramblers, who can talk and talk for an hour. And those are the ones that frustrate the other members. So you want to be able to manage those ramblers and ask them to summarize the main points so we can move on. And of course, we have some that are not as articulate as some, but they have good ideas, but you don't want to discourage them. So when they start to share the information, you paraphrase, but don't correct. Just paraphrase what you believe they're trying to share and ask them, after paraphrasing, is this what you were trying to share with us? And then there are the stubborn ones who do not want to give in. You may want to defer sometimes the discussion. If the discussion gets too challenging, say, okay, let's park this and discuss this at the next meeting. And then of course, you have those who are the eager ones, who are always willing to participate and to do. So you want to ask others of the opinion before finalizing your objective. So also we got to look at leading as well. So what is leading? The ability to get others to follow or to do something that needs to be done. you as a leader, this is very important to you. You want to ensure that your club members are able to follow you and to follow the projects and to be involved in the projects that you want to be undertaken. So as a leader, you need to get others to follow and do something that needs to be done. You always need to empower members of a group to create and realize the collective vision. So you as a leader, some person mentioned it earlier, you have your goals. You also want to get the members to coalesce behind those goals and have a collective vision. And you also want to obtain significant or often extraordinary results from people. So sometimes as a leader, you need to be able to motivate persons to go beyond their expectations. Those are some of the qualities of leading. So, why would members want to follow you? They follow you because of the respect for the title. You are the president, so yes, we respect the title. You may also be popular, so they want to be like you. And they may also follow you out of respect because you engender feelings of trust, safety, and well-being. And they also want to follow because of trust. You demonstrate competence, reliability, and integrity. And of course, people follow you sometimes because of the charisma, because you are persuasive and influential. So, Kingsley Grant said, people don't follow leaders, they follow what they see in leaders. So, as a leader, you would want persons to identify these qualities in you. That you're a good coach, you develop others to succeed in their roles and prepare for future roles. You are a good facilitator, you make things easier for others. You are a good listener, you talk less and ask and listen and observe more. You are a decision maker. You make those tough decisions and hard choices when the time comes for those tough decisions. You are not one that would deflect it. You step up to the plate and make the tough decisions. You are a team player. So you not only want to lead from the front, you're willing to walk with your persons and hold them hand in hand as you go through your challenges. And of course, you are visionary. You have a picture of where they're heading and why that destination matters to the club and themselves. So you're visionary, you have an idea as to what you want to achieve in the next year, and you want to bring those persons along with you. So, remember that a president must enable a sense of pride and satisfaction, and enable a sense of unity and fellowship, and enable a sense of personal well-being within the club. So I hope that I have been able to identify the requirements for your journey as president and vice president. I've described the presidents and the roles of the president and the vice presidents. I've reviewed the responsibilities of the president and vice presidents, and I've shared skills required for success. I just want to apologize for my bug and not being able to be so easy on the ears. My apologies for that. Any questions? Are there any questions?
Hi, Sharon.
Yes, please.
Yeah, good evening, Len Walton. Good evening from the Grand Cayman Club.
Len Walton, long time.
Yeah, I am on the side. I expected a number of my members to be in the training, and I myself came in at and it had already started. I just need to get clarification as to what time exactly, say your Eastern Caribbean time, what time exactly did the training start?
Yeah, there was a challenge. I think Lane Louisiana can explain. There was a challenge at the beginning. Lane Louisiana, you want to explain?
Hi, good evening, Lion Walton. Yes, we had a sort of a miscommunication. It was scheduled to start at 6 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, which would have been 5 p.m. Jamaica and Cayman time. But because the flyer had 7, most people thought it would have started at 7. So we in fact started at 6:30 Eastern Caribbean time, which would have been 5:30 Jamaica and Cayman time. But the sessions are being recorded, and at least by tomorrow it should be made available to the committee. So we will forward it to all the participants, or at least everyone who registered for the session. We will share it with them.
Okay, thanks. Like I said, I encourage the incoming officers all to participate. And I did say to them that I will be available on the recording, but the opportunity to ask questions is helpful. I did see one of the members who said they could not make it in. So another thing I would say is that I've noticed some persons have not identified themselves in the chat. So you see like iPad 4 or something like that. And I'm also encouraging my members in our club, when we go to these hybrid meetings, to please identify themselves if they're participating. I don't like to come in and see Samsung 4. Thanks for the information. Thanks, Len Shervin. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Len Walton, for sharing that. That is very important. I know that's one of my pet peeves. If you're coming on, and the members from my club here will tell you that when I manage my Zoom and you do not identify yourself, I dismiss you. Because I think if you're coming into a meeting, persons should know that who you are, because with technology, we want to make sure that the meeting is intended for the persons who are there, and we don't have visitors that we don't want. So I encourage persons, everybody should be aware of the technology, how to put up your name, because it makes it easy for the presenter to identify you, and also easy for record keeping as well. So thank you, Lane Walton, for sharing that. Yes, Lane Rhonda. I see your hand.
Thank you, Lion Sherwin. I'm asking if you could put up back the slide with your contact information again.
Of course.
Thank you.
So feel free to WhatsApp or email if you have any queries, you need any guidance. And I want to encourage those who, you would have heard me earlier shouting out my RLA graduates, especially those who have encountered over the last 4 years. So I want to encourage those incoming presidents and the vice presidents who have not yet attended RLA or ELLI training, when they're put on by the Motherpur District, that you seek to attend those training. I'm sure those persons here who have attended will tell you the benefits that have been derived from not only the training, but also the connections and the networking that they have found coming out of that training. I'm not sure which one the district is going to put on next year, but I'm sure it's going to be one. It will either be RLA or the ELI. So I encourage you early to try to attend that training. Yes, Lion Rohan?
Yes, Lion Sherwin. I have a question for you. How can one reach out to members of the club to take up positions in the club? For instance, my club, which is Lions Club of Kingston, SVG, we have 38 members on the book. We just had our elections and nominations, and everyone who we nominated for positions, everyone declined. So it comes now where the person so elected for this current Lions year, which ends the end of June, have now been re-elected to serve a second year in the same positions.
Good question there, Rohan. Sometimes, and you said your club consists of how many members?
38.
And how many of those are considered active?
Active, I would say about 20.
20. So sometimes there's an opportunity for people, I mentioned earlier, presidents have to make the hard, tough decisions. So sometimes there's an opportunity for persons to have the one-on-one conversation with members of the club to find out what is the reason for being still on the roll of the membership if they do not want to sustain the club. Because if you don't have leaders, the club cannot be sustained. You may just have members, but who in every organization we need leaders. So that is why I mentioned earlier that presidents need to mentor leaders early to find out where your leadership is coming from. So this year, since you are a repeating president, I encourage you to have that conversation with your members to find out how many of them are willing to step up, and if they are not willing to step up, step out, and then have a conversation with your membership chair to identify new members who are willing to take on leadership roles. So presidents, I know this is a challenge that's been coming into the clubs in the district. So when you are recruiting membership, make sure that you are upfront with these members and indicate to them, we expect you to take on some leadership responsibilities. Then Robert is here from my club, and he indicated earlier in the icebreaker, this is his second year, and he stepped up to be the second VP. Our first VP, I'm not sure if she's here. Elaine Valencia has only been in the club, I think, 2 years as well, and she is the first VP. So Elaine Valencia I sponsored her, and up front I said to her, I expect you to be a leader, because I don't just expect you to come to the club and be another member. So if sponsors indicate to your persons you expect them to take on leadership positions, and identify persons that you're going to bring to the organizations who you know can not only serve and provide service, but also provide leadership as well. So Elaine Rohan, I will encourage you at your first meeting to have a heart-to-heart conversation with your members and to find out whether or not they want the club to move forward. And the only way that the club can move forward is if they are willing to accept leadership positions.
Thank you, Lance Sherwin.
I hope that helps. Any other questions?
Good evening. I'm from Statia. My name is the new president incoming president now from Statia. I'm sorry for coming in late, and also because I wasn't getting on, and also we have some bad communication with the internet here right now. But what I have managed to do, I tape most of what I hear, and I take pictures also from all the information you were sharing on the screen.
Yes, as I said earlier, the information will be shared once you're registered.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining.
And I apologize for my vice president because she's off island for medical.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
All right, if there are no other questions, line Louisiane, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Lion Sherwin. And I see again, now we have a few comments in the chat reference the starting time. As I explained earlier, it was always scheduled for 6 p.m., but in sending out the Zoom link, it was inadvertently mentioned that it was at 7. But we did start at 6:30 in consideration to allow as many persons as possible to join the session. The sessions are recorded and it will be shared with everyone who registered. So don't fret, you might have missed something, but we will definitely be sending it out to everyone who registered for the sessions. On another note, if you did not register, because I know some persons had issues with registering and you did not register, we would advise you to at least attempt, because we will be using your contact information to update your information on LCI's portal where leadership training is concerned. So if you have not registered, you just use the link to join the meeting. Please do so that we can get your member information to update your information on my LCI. So please Apologies again for the late start and the miscommunication. And on that note,
so thank you, Lion Lewis. Before you continue, you just touched something which is very important, which is causing a challenge, I think, to previous GLT persons. Yes. I want to encourage those here. You know your ID, your club number. Encourage the members in your club to get familiar with their club ID number. All of the training that is going on with Lions Committee will require you to input your club ID number. I know there are some persons who have been members for years and will tell you that they don't know their club ID number. That means that they've never been on the portal. So in order to fully utilize the resources of Lions Club International, the Lions portal for training, and also to ensure that your attendance at these training sessions are recorded by Lions Club International, you will need your Lions ID number. So get familiar with it so that when the registration come out, you can enter your registration number so that your attendance can be recorded in the Lions Club International. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lion.
Thank you very much.
Are you saying something, Lion Sharon?
No, I just said thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks so much. So on that note, I would like to thank everyone who participated in this training. If you know some of your club members who were supposed to be on but were not on, please encourage them when they get the recording to go over it. And I see a point which came up, and I can guarantee you will not be the only club, Lion, especially Lion Rohan. We've had that issue also where we have members not willing to take up ownership of their positions in the club and not willing to take up the role. So we're hoping that as time goes by, the other GLT teams and the GMT teams will put plans in place to address how clubs can deal with that. Lion Sherwin gave some excellent recommendations, and we're hoping that you will take him up on that in terms of how you approach your members in the new Lionistic year. So to all of us on here this evening, all our incoming presidents or incoming vice presidents, we thank you very much for taking up the responsibility of leading your club into the new Lionistic year. And we hope that you use this session as a means of encouraging other members. One of the things we said that it was open to all members, not just the incoming officers, because there might be other members who are interested in taking up positions in the club, but they want to be fully aware and cognizant of what it entails. So you can encourage those members to register for the other sessions. Somebody might just want to know how to run a committee, how to accurately record minutes and notes. So the secretary's training would be ideal for them. So Lions, please, we thank you for your participation, and we encourage you to encourage your members to avail themselves of the opportunities that are being presented for them. So to all the Lions here this evening, Lion Sherwin, we extend sincere thanks to you. We know we can always call upon you. And we're hoping to that with this, because I'm very sure you were very impressed with Lion Sherwin presentation, that some of you say, oh, maybe I would like to see myself there one day. And he encouraged us to take part in the RLLI programs. So as a past president, you are entitled to avail yourself of that opportunity. So hopefully in a few years from now, maybe 5-10 years, we might call upon you to facilitate such trainings. So Lion Sherwin, thank you very much for your time, your effort, and the information that you imparted onto us, and to all our Lions on this session this evening. Thank you very much. And again, we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience that might have been caused due to the miscommunication, but we were glad that you were able to join us, and we will definitely be sharing the information with you as soon as possible. Thank you very much once again for participating in tonight's session.